Well, let them wait. I'm talking too much stuff. Welcome to Shema Shabbat Shalom, Anu Mishpacha. Good to see all of you in the chat. Give thanks. I'd like to open up the space and give thanks to the Most High Yah and acknowledge that presence and that power that allows us to move throughout the strong and throughout each yom. I wouldn't say unfettered, but making it through, and allowing us to be progressive, not just busy, but progressive. And so here we are on the last yom of our external. We are going into our internal. It is sundown here on the East Coast, so it is Shabbat for us. And so we are opening up this space to deliberate on the Anu way. Give thanks to Chief Yuya for allowing us to utilize this space, yes, and create that area where we can deliberate with one another, without, I was about to mess it up, so I won't even say it. So
don't say it.
That has already run away with us, so I'm not even going to try to catch up right now. So give thanks for all of you for being here. Peace, Chief Yuya. Peace, Sister Kashia, Brother Bari Utu. Peace, Sister Munira. Top tier speakers. Peace, Sister Kwanda. Top tier speakers says we out here waiting on the sidelines.
Let them wait, she said.
No, Chief, we would not want you out there like a $2, you know what?
Boop, we would
a $2 hooker. No. No, y'all much more expensive.
Much more.
Peace, everyone. Right, get some time to, I willingly use time wisely. Greetings, Pampered Perfect. Welcome. I've never seen that before, so welcome. Chief says, shoot, I might as well deliver my message for tomorrow because clearly no, we're not. Shalom, Sister Naya.
Peace. We are here. We are here.
We made it. We are here.
And I'm Ema Precious. For those of you who perhaps are new and aren't as familiar with us, this dynamic duo for Shema, pardon me, or Shema Anu. And I will jump right into the preface. Pardon me. Okay. This book is not to be read only once. Read the words of this book of knowledge and wisdom out loud. Discuss the convictions of this work with your Anu brothers and sisters. Share this information with your people. This publication should be read daily. Every line in this book can be taken out of context and studied on the strength of its own potential. The truth is to be deliberated.
There one more time for the new folks and the people.
I know it. I was waiting. The truth. I was like, she's not going to ask me for the 1, 2 on the one. The truth is to be deliberated. Yes. And for those who are unfamiliar, that is an excerpt from the Anu Way Foundations as written by Chief Yuya. Preface.
Okay. They're later than Keisha Cole for her verses. Was she late? Oh, well.
She was very late. I remember that one. Yeah, she was very late. It was rude, actually.
Oh no, apologies. We did not.
Well, we weren't. I don't think we were that. This has been later before, but whatever. Okay.
Okay, so let's get started. Y'all know the drill. We still on family, and we are talking about children. So this is about our part 4 on children. We're actually part 34 in our time in family. And so we're talking about children. So we've gone over in the last several strongs about children, the role of children, bringing in children from a previous relationship, and how to introduce them when you're in a courtship, when they should be introduced, and that, how all that plays in. So now we're talking about the responsibility of children. So, Ema Precious, would you do us the honor of reading the passage?
My pleasure. There is a responsibility of children. In marriage, you must survey. Children must take the values provided to their mothers by their father and seek for ways to use those values to further develop their people and family. Children should be exposed to the best parts of the cultural doctrine of Anu so that they can evolve it. Their role in evolving our culture should never be undermined. Without the Anu youth advancing of what we are, we will perish.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm going to read that last line because I think that that is so important. Without the Anu youth advancing of what we are, we will perish.
Mm-hmm. Give thanks for that. So when I did go over like the initial, like my initial reading and understanding, or understanding, I think at this point it's understanding, right? Because we're still deliberating. It was, this whole thing is about how children evolve the family or evolve the bloodline, and that is the responsibility, right? um so I guess I'll take the first sentence. So there is a responsibility of children in marriage you must survey. So when I, thought about that, like, so yeah, the responsibility, what is that? And, to evolve. And it specifically says in marriage. So that goes along with what we've been talking about this entire time, not unconsciously creating and just having children and babies all willy nilly, but bringing children into a family. I think, Ima Precious, it was you who said when we did like our full Akyot Shema a few strongs ago that, family is the foundation of community. So this is not a game. And it's not about just like, I'm a single parent or, you know, um, we want to make sure children are within the best that we have to offer them, right? So then, that last part, so that's the part about marriage, like in a marriage, kind of like a reminder, right? And then the last part is like, you must survey. And I was like, what does it mean to survey? And I thought kind of like, to review, right? Or to look into, take a poll, like, kind of really get to the meat and potatoes. We don't eat meat. Give me something else. Something else.
Carrots and potatoes, baby.
Jackfruit. What about jackfruit? Jackfruit and potatoes.
I'll just give you carrots. You could just.
That's more because carrots is a root too.
That's a stew, though. It's yummy.
Carrots and potato stew. We want to get to the carrots and potato stew of, or the crux of it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like look at, survey what that responsibility is. And so if the responsibility is to evolve, what is it that we're pouring into our families? So as women, what is being poured into us? And then how are we reflecting that? And meshakef, right? Meshakef is the Hebrew word for reflect. How are we reflecting that and pouring that into our progeny and offspring within they didn't like that combo. I don't know which combo you're talking about, but is it the jackfruit and potatoes or the stew? I don't know which one.
We eat potatoes and carrots, so it can't be mine. It has to be your jacked up jackfruit. But we'll leave that there. We'll let them. We'll let them. So when you touched on the idea of survey, I immediately thought of the biblical reference of surveying or going to and fro to assess. And I also thought of when you have land, you oftentimes need to have a surveyor. And what they do, right? They take stock, they measure, they analyze, they give you the topography, which then helps you set the stage for what in fact you can do with said land. So if you think about that first line as the responsibility of children in a marriage, like that responsibility of children, what I'm reading is you need to really be walking into the decision of children with your mate, doing a full sober assessment.
Yeah.
Truly taking stock and fashioning a plan based on what? Based on your cultural imperative, right? And we'll get into that in the next line. But that was what And then also the idea of, and it's actually right up over here, the solutions text. It reminds me, right? Plug. The when you were speaking also about, marriage, cross-cultural unions, and the challenge that lies therein is, with that in mind, there's no way you can even get to what this paragraph is referencing, because you don't have unison, you don't have one path, one way, and a connection to Yah. What you have is two cultures struggling and trying to fight for which one is going to lead, whether it's happening consciously or subconsciously, it's happening. And that's something that's referenced in Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships. Yeah, see, they said it was jacked up jackfruit. Boom.
What you said. You just wait till you.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it though.
I just saw how big. Sidebar. I just saw how big it was in where was I, in Wegmans, or anyway, I was in the store and I couldn't
Whole
believe
Foods.
how I might have been.
Whole Foods.
No, it's a lie. I was in Wegmans. It was big. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, children must take the values provided to their mothers by their father and seek for ways to use those values to further develop their people and family. So it says children must take the values provided to their mother by their father and seek for ways to use those values to further develop their people and family. So this is what the child's charge is, right? Because some may read this and think, shouldn't that be the parent? Shouldn't that be the mother? Shouldn't it be, the mother is taking what she's been given? No. This is clearly setting the expectation that, one, remember, we've walked through the courtship process, the betrothal and marriage contracts. There's a clear set intention here. There's a clear line, right? And as Chief has shared, everything is about the bloodline, biblically speaking, but even in this human experience, it's all about the bloodline. And so once you enter into union with your mate, you are then consciously creating. Once you've consciously created something, the idea is that they're going to carry that thing that you've created, fashioned in your mind, beyond where you can. So that's why, in my humble opinion, the children must then take the values, because you're not doing this, right? You don't have cross-cultural union. So what you have is one set mission given by Yah to the man, right? Because we know how hierarchy works in a patriarchal organization such as Anu. So that one man is receiving guidance and vision from Yah, and he's pouring that into the women in his homestead. So when those children spring forth, it's already clear what the mission is, because you're clear about your rootage. So that's, I'm looking at it again. So really the children are then carrying that thing forward in order to get to that, to further their people. So now the whole community is relying on these children. So it went from mother, father, or mother's father to children to community, because that's where the expansion or the evolution even begins.
I mean, you can have a bunch of mother fathers, right? Or a mother's father.
Have a bunch of mothers.
Fathers. But even if you have the, several sets of mothers and fathers, like, is it a community with no children? Because with no children, the evolution is impossible. You just die out. So like the children are, just from their nature alone of how they're brought forth, it means that they're there to evolve. And it reminds me of, Chief did say once, in one of the segments, I shouldn't say once, it's probably several times. So you can pick any segment you want. Children, that evolution, it means that sometimes like they step outside of what was given to them, like that kind of bit of rebelliousness is to move forward, right? But I think it's how we pour into them to make sure that evolution is within what needs to happen for the community, and it's not something that is far from, like, you know, succumbing to, Western ideology or the, outside world, but it's evolving the community in the way that they, I'm just making up words, evolving the community in a way that makes sense. It also made me think of, like, bloodlines, right? Because if our children are our ancestors returned, it's like they're also coming back to say, hey, what didn't I do? What needs to be fixed? So we have to take heed when, they come through, and we have to even think about how we were, as children. Are we in the same places that our parents were in when they were our age? I know my answer is no, and and it should be no in a good way. You should see where you have, made that next step, as you think of, like, a timeline. Is it going like this, or do you see yourself, here? It should be going up, 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 as we think of, like, reviewing, right, in a survey, and we think about, like, statistics. You want to see, like, that increase. You don't want to see stagnation and straight line. You want to see,
Growth.
going up. Sorry, stocks. You want to see
growth, right?
This,
Yes. So Chief Yuya says, how do you think this would look in the matrix of polyandry with mother, father, 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 etc.? So the first thing that comes to mind for me is chaos. What we have right now, confusion, and a disconnectedness. Never mind a lack of commitment to expand, right? If you think about it, people are having fewer children, and fewer people are having children. So that in and of itself speaks to a lack of interest in expansion. Because if you aren't rooted in anything, what would be the driving force to want to reproduce something that you're not even of or in? Yeah, that's my answer.
And I would say we see that matrix now, we see it now. That's just my baby daddy. We see it a lot. We see it on both ends, but specifically when we talk about, like, mother, father, father. And to your point about the chaos, if the man is supposed to pour into the woman and pour into the child, that's and just pulling on, like, here, and I knew we had a conversation about Eve and Hawa. Her fallen name was Hawa, because she's the mother of all life. Hawa is her fallen name because at that point she's been handled by a few different beings, right? So, like, when we have the mother, father, 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 etc., that's a lot of handling. That's a lot of different things being poured into you. So what is it that how are you sifting through to pour into the children? Are you mixing what one father wants for his child with the others? And then how is that happening? How is that, I don't want to say holding up, like, how is that working out, for lack of a better way to say it? How is that working out even between the men that are in this, matrix with you? So it's kind of impossible. And I think, we do see people say, well, we're doing it. I'm the mother and the father. We're doing it. But again, what's really being poured into the children? Is there really an evolution of that bloodline? And which bloodline are you evolving, since there's so many different men and so many different fathers, and they may have or will have, ideas for how they want their bloodline to progress. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So Sister Kashia says, based on Chief Yuya's question, would that even work? Isn't that too many? Oh, this one's moving. Isn't that too many sources pouring into one vessel, creating a tang-aid like confusion? So yeah, that's a really good point. Yes, it creates confusion, lack of clarity, I think, at best.
Mm-hmm.
And lack of desire to reproduce something that is so foreign to what your spirit will recognize as, like, no, this is not how this is supposed to be. So we're not going to reproduce here. We're not going to recreate here,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And it kind of leads to our question. And we recognize there's a slight delay. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you the question as Sister Deidre prepares for the next sentence. So this is for, Anu and anyone who's read the Anu Way, of course. What part of the Anu cultural imperative do you seek to see your offspring expand? I'll say it again. What part of the Anu cultural imperative do you seek to see your offspring expand? So, what do you view as the most amazing, I'm going to say precious, even though I never do, precious parts of this experience, or what you're bringing to this experience, that you want your lineage to carry? I look forward to hearing about that. And I'll just say personally, it is the scholarly component of things that I personally seek to see my youth expand and carry forward, and just like bust the seams out of and create something even more phenomenal than the foundation that's been laid by, the different talks and books and lectures and all that we Anu participate in and chief spearheads and leads. So that's my answer.
To the question?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my answer to the question. Well, what else would I be answering?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You were typing. I know.
Seriously, with 2 fingers.
My answer to what? I got you. You quick. It's better than me because I'm like a one peck, as you know. So we're good.
I have mastered 2-finger typing.
Good for you.
Yes, it's a skill. So while we wait for other people to answer that question, I'm gonna go back to the chat. The Kwanda, like to the comment made before about like the mother, father, and the Kwanda agrees, culture of confusion. Yeah. Sovereignty says yes, children are ambassadors of the culture and lineage. They project the culture and help to make it visible as they represent that homestead. Absolutely right. And so if you have mother, father, which homestead are they representing? Right. If it's mother, father, are those children to the point of the Shema? Yes. That the Achiot Shema, yes. Are they with their father? So then right. They can represent the homestead. But if everybody's all in one space and there's all the different fathers, like what's being pushed forward, right?
But wait, before you move forward, even with that, even with the connection that you just, pulled together, with that, there's still a lot of confusion, because it says the children must take the values provided to their mothers by their father. But if you started with the mother who carried you in the womb, and now you're with your father and the mothers that are his mates, there's still a degree of, well, what am I doing? So even in creating something righteous out of what was originally unrighteous, perhaps, is ripe for problems for the youth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The chat. Okay. So yes. It says we see females adhering to so many ideals such as feminism, their secular jobs, witchcraft, etc. All different fathers to her. This is true. Like, there's a lot of things being poured in, and like, are we sifting properly? Right. Are we shutting out? Some things it's not even sift. Are you able to shut out? And if you're not necessarily a part of a homestead and a part of a homestead that is fully like engulfed and embraced or embraces their culture and makes no exceptions, you leave room for those other fathers, to seep into your mental space. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Erev Tov, Safta, Arlene.
Yes, Arlene, yes.
Sovereignty also says polyandry would make the mother a vessel of dysfunction and mixed down culture, and that will pass on to the youth. The youth will eventually turn their backs on their parents. And how many times do we see that? And sometimes it could work out for the best with the youth. If they turn their backs, they realize the dysfunction, right? If there's
Right.
a realization and recognition of the dysfunction, and they move to something better. But that is that idea of breaking generational curses. Sometimes the youth will come through, and it's like, it's going to have to start with me. And I know some of that is, what I have to do is like break those generational curses and not necessarily continue what was poured into me and move towards something that's more righteous. Does it mean that everything was wrong and a mistake? No, but I have to make sure that I'm blocking off those things that are damaging and dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Peace, Cassie Derwin. That's how she says it.
Yes.
Okay. Peace, how are you?
Girl.
Right. He says, Peace, Cassie Derwin. Chief says, answer: land acquisition, family building, self group sustaining vacations, and lifestyles.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To what part of the, okay,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, that was his question. The answer to the question right below you.
Yes, it's like, huh? That kind of strong. It was that kind of strong.
I got you. I'll read the next one. Peace, family. I look forward to maintaining the purity of the bloodline. This is Aki Chris. It's a sad sight seeing race horses losing their vigor in attempts to be mixed with the jackass. I thought he was going to say jackfruit. That's so funny. Okay. Yes. That would be a combination. Sister Kashia says, I would like to see the entrepreneurial imperative carried out, a life set apart from Babylonian influences and dependency. Absolutely. I want for my children, Abba Utu L says, I want for my children to continue and expand teaching, guidance, and service to Anu, and in that, the planet humanity. Mm-hmm. And I lost my place in the. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, Sister Kwanda says, I look forward to the scholarly, entrepreneurial, collective mindset, physical, well-being, and cultural aspects. Okay. Sister Kashia says, Shalom. How do you see that bloodline purity maintained? So this is a question to Christopher's answer. How do you see the purity of the bloodline purity maintained? Aki Chris, what does that look like to you according to our Anu imperatives? So we'll wait for that answer. Top tier speaker says, I seek for my youth to expand entrepreneurship, wise and possess masculine characteristics, outspoken, confidence, etc. They must learn defensive techniques such as fighting. That's a must.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we gotta learn self-defense. We can't be out here like sitting ducks and sheep just ripe for the picking from the wolves. We gotta be the wolves.
That's right. Be that. We ain't got to see that. No, let me not bust a funky dope rhyme right now. Okay. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not going to do it.
Steve says, do other women see an urgency in making sure every sister they know is covered and every brother has the mid-region covering of a woman? Are there any active matchmakers here? That's a good question.
Yes.
Matchmaker. And you know what? That question reminds me of a book, good book. We want for our sisters what we want for ourselves, at least from the woman's perspective. I can't speak from the man's perspective, but like, do I want to see women covered and kind of moving freely, right? Sometimes you notice like when people in general, and we could think about it from the perspective of like women moving around, when they're just easy. You ever see people walking in the street and everything just looks easy, like they look like they're at peace and at ease. I imagine like that's what it looks like when you're covered, when you are in a stable household and like everything is good. Like, things are, there's a foundation to fall back on. Everything looks easy, and who wouldn't want that? Because and I've had those moments where we're walking around the street, everything's good,
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah. So you mean to
And
tell me it's not like, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying everybody's much better off.
So you mean it's not what commercialized Western culture will tell you, which is that the only way to be easy breezy is through a makeup brand. So easy breezy is a
Right.
culture. It's a way of life. It's being mated and knowing that in having community, you have ease or peace of mind. I know my children are safe when I'm in the company of my sisters and brothers. Yeah. That is what is easy breezy about being Anu, for sure. And to answer the question, yeah, I do think that there are active matchmakers, or at least the desire to do that and to be that, because oftentimes we as the individuals seeking to be mated may not see something that another sister or brother sees or recognizes, like, oh, all right, I see. This might be, that might be cool. That might be cute. All right, let's see how I can, make that happen. So you put it out there and then, it begins to happen. Give thanks
Yeah.
for that.
Okay, well, I think that is the call, to be active matchmaking.
Clearly, you put it out there, right? So now it shall happen. You create it, you build it, and they will come. So so Chief also says, do any of you sisters know some unwed mothers who are eligible for mating that you are actively seeking to assist in finding headship? Or are you just observing this situation from afar? Yeah, that's a really
No,
also
that's
thought. Yeah.
and you know what? I know, but they're relationships. I won't, but not how we define a homestead here. So it's like, I think sometimes it's like, do you disrupt what's happening? Are people? It's like you want to discern like where the mindset is, right? Are they ready to come over, or do you kind of slow walk them? So I'm a slow
Yeah.
walker.
And you know what? I wonder if this
Slow
is
walk.
actually referring to within, right?
Yeah.
Within Anu right now. Do you know, like, that's almost how I read it, because otherwise they wouldn't necessarily be eligible for mating today, for you to even consider matching or creating a match for them. So the
Because
way I,
it's not just a matter of, hey, you will be good like with this person here. Let me pass along. This doesn't work like that. They will
right.
have to go through the courtship process.
Right, right. But those women who are outside of Anu would also need to go through, orientation and reformation and
Yeah.
other things. So I'm imagining that this would be more specific to perhaps, perhaps to both. But I'm reading it from the flip side. But either
Mm-hmm.
way, yeah, we got work to do. That's
Mm-hmm.
and I look forward to seeing what the responses are in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So
What? Oh my goodness. Sister Kashia says, Sister Kwanda agrees with you. Top two. I'm sure you read that already. We don't need to.
yeah, we're way behind again.
This is not hooked on phonics teachers. She could read. Okay. Yes, Anu, we are all to be covered and in tune to the needs, to the community. Our new way is family. We must all have family and be part of a homestead. Yeah.
There you
Mhm.
go. There you go.
I'm gonna skip past. I'm gonna go straight to the ones. The youth, Sister Munira says, the youth are Anu understanding the value of our culture and seeking to build on the righteousness instilled into them. Right. Like, so that evolution should always have that base of righteousness. What funky dope rhyme?
Funky dope. Bust my funky dope rhyme.
I
Nah,
thought you were
chill,
like,
son. Chill.
huh?
Huh?
Nothing.
I got my rhyme.
I thought you were saying funky cold Medina.
Hey, I got my rhyme book right here. Carry with me everywhere.
Good question, Chuju. Yeah, I see them in some of my doula clients that I share the Anu knowledge with. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Chief US says, oh wow, I would love to hear that.
I don't know what.
If you know, you put that animated like doo doo the question mark like. Huh? I think that was response to Sister Kashif. Sovereignty says her answer: cooperative economics and on a global scale and across many Anu chapters, consistency in principles, standards, and a code that is set apart, maintaining nationhood and loving and living law. Good answer. Mm-hmm. Brother Antonio, I would like to see the science of family creation further evolved. Yes. I got a late start when it comes to how I knew people mate and the responsibility of children.
Could you elaborate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading your question mark. I'm like, okay, she's like recalculating. So let me
just the last part. Just the last part.
Yeah.
This wasn't. Did you mean to the live? You know, education, rites of passage, business mindset, mindedness. They all stem from a good home culture. Yeah. Like how many of us are here and like had no clue of how money works.
Right. Right.
You know. And if you don't know how money works, how are you going to build a business? How are you going to save money properly? How are you going to, do anything? Mm-hmm. Not to say that money is wealth, but it is a tool, and a mechanism. It's a tool to get to be able to acquire things that you need.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I'll read the next one. Mm-hmm. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I had to do it. I mean, it was there on the screen.
That's how you gonna say it? Like
mic check 1 2 1 2. You'll be in the background like we got it down. We didn't even rehearse this.
How do you need it?
Mm-hmm. Not sold to you are fired. Not even fined. Straight fired. We are not sold to soul.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
We'll talk backstage.
But I mean, they sample everything nowadays.
Let's get back to this. I
lost my job, y'all. I can't get fired.
Fired.
Fired. I just got fired.
You did.
Okay. Chief UEI said, oh no, I'm sorry. Brother Christopher Magneto responded to Sister Kashia. The Anu way gives us the tools for maintaining the purity. Anu men are for Anu women. That's right. Chief UEI says, we want for our sisters what we want for ourselves. African American women who practice polygyny by consent. Dr. Patricia Dixon, good book. Yes, that was the book that I was referring to earlier. Yes. So pick it up.
Also, right back here on the right there, that little red one.
Pick it up. Pick it up.
Yep, check
out some things. Mm-hmm.
A lot of things. A lot of good things.
Yeah, and how how people think, and also I think it gives you an idea of how you actually respond and think to what your real thoughts are. It will force you to really think about that. Mm-hmm. Top tier speaker says, yes, I'm always down for matchmaking.
Go ahead, Ima. Go on, make it happen.
So we have some folks who read the book. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Top tiers. Yep, we got yes. Okay. But as Sister Munira would say, ow. I told you to steal everything.
We're taking it all.
Steal everything.
Everything. Right. And you know what? We're also, I'm going to call it dubbing. We're not stealing. We're going to dub because I really loved how Aki Lo and Aki Zach did their own. They didn't say, oh yeah, it's got to be like this, right? It's got to be this starch box. They acted all the way up. So we don't have permission to act all the way up. But we just turn up the dial a wee bit. That's what we dub from now.
But you know what? They can, because it was refreshing to see more of the, because we did get a lot of that with Brother Antonio and Cruz was with us, and now we get to see an expansion of our new men and women give their take. So it's always good to have to freshen it up a bit, right?
Yes. Yep.
Really enjoyed
See all the
the
personalities and styles.
the discussion on like, would you? What if it was you?
Right.
Oh, you.
And it's like, let me see.
Because it's you. I would do it because it's you.
Right.
That was amazing. Okay. I think I lost my place.
Okay. I'll pick up.
Oh, you find it. Thank you.
I am my sister's keeper. Okay, so Utu L says, Ken, which is yes. Honor Life Global Ministries, Achot Deidre, Walking in Power and Grace. So I'm not sure what he's saying yes to, but okay.
Something I said earlier.
Oh, it is because we're late. Okay, word. We're like 10 minutes behind the chat. Okay, to answer Chief, I definitely want, this is Sister Kwanda. To answer Chief, I definitely want to see my sisters covered. I can now be able to express what being appropriately covered means. Yeah, really good point. Aki Antonio says, funny. I just saw a segment with Chief Yuya and Hondo Solomon, and he recommended the book as well.
Yeah.
It's on the way. Yeah. Oh, Aki Antonio, you got to let us know what you think when you read it. Sister Ramirez says she shares our culture with other unwed mothers in order to ensure that they get covered by a righteous man. Their eligibility may be questionable, but there is room for growth. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
the eligibility piece, right? But that's for the community to determine.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about the segment. Yeah, the segments with Hondo Solomon are good. I think there was like a theme, about it being economic warfare and like about families, polygynous families being economic warfare, and I had to. I was like, you know what? That's true. Like, because how many people, because it's like, and it goes back to what you said. It's like family is that foundation of community. So if we have a community that's like nothing but families that are like grounded and stable, they business is like, who gonna check me? Who gonna check me? But right? So it's like, yeah.
Who check me? Yeah, it's true. It's true. No, but also really that who gonna check me is that unstoppability, right? It's like we are unstoppable. Why? Because
we check each other. We do. We check each other.
Yeah, of course. But that's to be understood, right? Because that's a part of what the culture is. Right. So then Safta Arlene says, I would like for my family to exhibit the morals and character values as well as the entrepreneurship and education. And then Chief Yuya says, but what woman is balanced if not under right teaching? That's true. Do you want for them to find Anu or to be pulled in by my teachings and then you help? Or is Anu a relevant answer to the now situation? I definitely think Anu is a relevant answer to the now situation, but not like, oh, this is my problem, right? And I think that's what you're saying. Now this is my problem, so Anu can fix it, right, and make me all clean and shiny again after I done rolled in the mud for like 25, 55, 65 years, right? So no, not in that way. I'm saying, that Anu is a relevant answer to the existing situation of society now, just to kind of give, but I know that's not specifically what the people should be attracted to Anu based on the foundation of Chief's teachings, and all that comes forth out of that. That's what I would imagine.
Yeah, and then we help. Right? Like,
and then we help.
And then we, but yeah, that now situation, because the way I read that, it was like, well, this is what I'm going through right now. So when I get much better, I'm gonna bounce.
Then I'm gonna leave. Right.
So it's like, that's who we want to make sure we're being discerning of and not necessarily wasting anyone's time with, pulling that kind of mindset, into the community.
So we probably want to dovetail back over to the paragraph we're covering.
Yeah, because we only got 2 sentences in. So,
Yes, ma'am.
children should uh
Be
children should
it.
be exposed to the best parts of the cultural doctrine of Anu so that they can evolve it. So this goes back to like exactly what we've already, we've been discussing. Like we want to give them that best part, the best parts. And I think Sister Manira said, instilling righteousness so they can move that forward. And that reminds me of this sentence, that the best parts, right? So we have to
I just read something in the chat. I'm sorry.
I'll go. So we
I'm
have
going
to,
to stay focused.
yeah, we have to, yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Look
I'm
at me.
listening.
Look at me.
I know. I just
Look
say
at me.
focus.
Look at me. So we have to expose them to the best parts so that we ensure that that's what they push forward, because especially like, we are physically, a lot of us like in Babylon when, so it's like, if you're not, that fully set apart yet, it's like making sure that what you give them is unbreakable, it is unquestionable, and it's like it's ironclad, so that that's what they're taking and pushing for, regardless of what is trying to like get at them from the outside. So that's my piece. That's what I'll say. That's my deliberation on that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think I already shared even in segueing to the question. It's really about ensuring that you have something that you and your mate have even begun by fashioning your mind around creating children based on righteous purpose, and then envisioning how they're going to carry that forward. Yeah. So so it can be evolved. So with that, Aki Antonio says, by late start, I meant a late start in life when it comes to how one should go about starting a family from a culturally responsibility stance. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. But we are here now. So that's a beautiful thing. And you get to have that perfect start, right? Because you get to have family just as it was intended to be. Late, but you still have to party.
And you know what? Some people may not want to hear this, but the truth is like men have more time than women. Yep. So maybe it's a late start in acquiring the knowledge, but really not a late start,
You're good. So. You're good. And they may not want to hear it, but guess what? If they've been here and they have the Anu, they surely would have read it, because it speaks to the expectations of a man and what they should do. And if I'm not mistaken, the man shouldn't really seek to even enter into any of what we're discussing until a little bit later. So Aki Antonio may not be as late as he may be late into the knowledge, but he even knew maybe what he didn't know by abstaining and waiting, right, to come to this point. So abstaining from having children, let me say.
Yeah. And it's just practical. There's a biological clock that we have, that women have, that men don't have in that way. So it or not, it's the truth. Truth be the light. Let light what?
Shine. I thought it was a movie quote again. I was like, no, let me tune out. But then I tuned back in because I realized it was music. I get that.
And the truth is power.
It's power. Is this from a movie?
No. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, we gotta get through this. Come on.
Could be not.
We could do it. So I'm gonna skip over because she is has some other questions that I'm sure Aki Chris answered. Okay. So then Sovereign Eat says, definitely envision every sister moving under a righteous master in joy and being able to walk free, head held high and confident in the work of being a helpmeet. Indeed. So Chief says, what if you had to make sure 50 families were formed within the next 60 days? What? Would your current activities change? Absolutely. I would say, yeah. And it's funny, my mind immediately went to land, but then my corrected mind went to be mated immediately,
Yeah, I'm like,
acquire land
let's
right
form
after.
we forming regiments.
Yes, yes, yes,
Italians here.
yes, yes. So let's see. Um, right, and Sister Kashia says, I understand that sense of urgency should be constant, indeed, right? So, yeah. Oh, so I guess be mated now, precious. That's that's the urgency that I should walk with. And now this is the part that I read by accident. Yeah,
Cardamom is
cardamom. The spice. Remember, it's these are spices. So now we're cardamom and star anise. Which one are you? I like cardamom.
I could be star anise.
Yeah, I like cardamom. It's like kind of, anyway, let me shut up. Yeah, I like So we're a healthier, sleeker salt and pepper for the new millennium. You know what's funny? I'm into yoga, as we do yoga together, many of the Anu womb and myself. And I've been practicing my bridge a lot more. And the other day we're going to do bridges. So prepare. Anu womb,
My bridge
prepare.
is falling down. Broke.
But don't. Okay.
Like,
You made the face like, but it's coming. I'm gonna do some modifications. But when I thought about my bridge, I said, oh yeah, I can still do a bridge. That's great. And I thought of the salt and peppers here when they dip down and drop. I was like, I can do that again. But I didn't try yet. So it's funny that he pulled on salt and pepper, because I was literally thinking about that move from Push It where they did a little pump back and then fall to the floor. Anyway.
I remember that.
You remember? Everybody remembers that move. Come on with the jackets and the cats. Anyway, so
wouldn't try it on camera till I'm good and ready, because we don't want no knees to give out.
Knees. It would be so much more than your knees that give out if you try that on camera or off. Your back, my neck, and my back.
And my back. Ow.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
My back, my neck, and my back.
Oh goodness. Oh, see, I went to a whole different song. Okay, that you did a comedy. I forgot your movies and songs, because I'm like, don't do it. Don't do that song.
You just reminded me that wasn't a song, but no, but
it was.
Yeah, mine was Ezel. That was Ezel.
Yeah, I got that at the end. My bad. Okay, so Chief says, right, Sister Kashia, too much talk and not enough action based on the urgency of the times. How do we reform the Messianic body if we don't join up to form the shape of a body? Headless women. Yeah. Indeed.
Like the headless horse. What is it? The
headless horseman? Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow. That's it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So Sabernit says, I do actively engage and continuously offer these sisters an opportunity. Most do not act on it. I'm always sharing what is relevant to their situation. Give thanks. Oh man, I lost my place. And there's so much here. You go ahead if you got it.
He looks forward to seeing the genius cultivated in the mind of youth that is groomed through Hebrew at inception. In the beginning, it was the word. It was a pleasure seeing the youth learning in the Anu Basic series. It's not something I have been privy to before. Oh, give thanks. So Brother Christopher is speaking about we do have learning classes, right? Because we have mentioned, even right now in the Shema, we talked about the family, and many of you have touched on like economics being something that you want to make sure that your family learns or has, right, as a staple, as a foundation. But we know with like economy, which is like, economics are the goods and services that sustain our lives. You have to have education, right? You have to be wise. So have basic class series where we do learn parts of our culture that we are pulling in, our declarations of truth. And that includes Hebrew is one of them.
Yes.
So we are actively learning Hebrew as people who are descended, who are part of that bloodline, who are reclaiming our bloodline of being Hebrew. So, boom.
And the children attend and participate. That's what he's referring to as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it is a beautiful and fun thing for. I feel like the adults get neglected when the babies are there, but it's all good. You're supposed to be studying on your own anyway. No, it was a good thing. It was a good thing.
Like very focused on the kids, on the babies.
Very attentive. No, very attentive to them as it should be, as it should be. Okay, so it looks like Abba Utu says making understanding understood is the same as bringing balance among alikes. Anu is the now situation. Yeah, right. Okay, so he read it like
wait. Mic drop again.
Again. She's literally stealing everything. That is so foul. That was my steal.
They have fair warning.
Wait, you didn't get my steal. I stole from the best. That's foul. Val. See? So she didn't get it. She's slow today.
Watch Chief segments. I think it was a command of the day, right? Foul.
He references it often. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read that again. Anu is the now situation. Anu is the highway. Anything else is the get by way or the by way. That's some fly rhymes right there. I see what you're trying to do. It's a battle. Challenge. No, I'm joking. Oh, Savani says 1 hour later. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, we're 1 hour in. Yes.
Because we were like, it's not gonna be yeah.
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
we can't help. We just get in the space and love communing with everyone.
We do. No matter how we are running and stumbling to get here, right?
I don't know how I feel right now. It's totally like
right. Once we're on live, it's like, all right, we're home. So Chief says, right. So would you feed a homeless woman first, then offer Anu teachings, which instruct her to seek ahead? Or would you hope she listens to Anu doctrine via your advice and then share a sandwich? Okay. Ipako Bahamas says, blessed love. I remember Chief Yuya regularly states on many of his early segments that many people were lazy and did not want to do the work for self. And then there's greetings, Abba Cruz. And Safta Arlene says, I would share Anue over a meal.
Yeah.
And then many said, feed her first.
Yeah.
Sister Munira, tell me if you're caught up and then you can jump in. Sister Munira says, honestly, I would give the physical food first because she wouldn't be able to absorb the spiritual guidance when focused on hunger. Yeah, right. You think about just the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
Right? You have to food, shelter.
Yeah.
Clothing comes first.
Yeah.
So you would have to be methodical, not crafty in delivering the message. Yes.
Yeah. And it made me think immediately like Red Wrap. Red Wrap is one of our ministries. And so it's like when you come in with what people need, right? They're more receptive to hear your message. So
absolutely. Because it's always needs before wants, right?
Mm-hmm. So, right.
Yeah. And Aki Antonio says, can't preach to a starving dog. Interesting adage. And Sister Minna says, if I'm wrong, please offer guidance. The Anu imperative as a top priority is to have a righteous pool of mates for my present children and those to come. All right. She loves cardamom. I know it. I know, Sister Munira. The new Spice Girl. Go lay down, girl. New Spice Girls. Right. Tell me what you want. What you really want. I wanna. No, we're not doing that. We're like way too grown to be the new Spice
we
Girls.
we just did it. We just did it.
We're like the age Spice Girls, right?
Y'all don't tell nobody. Don't say nothing.
Okay. Chief says, y'all do that, and there will be hair wraps flying all up in the hands and blowing out the circuit breakers.
I think that was when we were talking about the bridge. I don't know.
Or the push it, or the whole dance routine from Salt and Pepper. Yeah, because when you try to come up, the hair wrap's gonna go flying off.
I ain't that Tin Manny. I got oil in this. I'm gonna go can around here somewhere. Oh
I can't. Oh, can't. Okay. So then Sister Kwanda says, can the act of sharing food and how you show how you be the message that opens the door. Okay, how you show up, be the message that opens the door, especially if they know the Babylonian you, or if they knew, right? If they knew, so that should be past tense. Sister Kwanda, if they knew the Babylonian you, the change in your behavior and poise, absolutely, because you should be reflecting the light that you're now receiving by your covering and by, everything you're getting here.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to commercial. Oh Lord. Well, he knew the name. I didn't remember her name was Kaya, but yeah, no comment. Let's just move down.
Mm-hmm. They like my headless impression.
Yes. I'm like, what is he talking about? But that, yeah, I don't, y'all know, the sisters know, I don't watch scary movies, so I don't know about headless horsemen or women or anything. So Sister Kashia says, reflecting the culture is one way of showing others the Anu way of life, especially if they knew you back in the day. Aki, yeah, Akot Kwanda. Your transformation can be their proof. If you can pick up, I have little ones here.
Transformation in action and not proclamation alone, right? Dr. Arlene says, if I know someone is just hungry for physical food, that's one thing, but man does not live on bread alone, so they will continue to be hungry. I dropped again.
Again.
Hey. Aqua Kwanda, Savani says Aqua Kwanda, agree to, yes, it's the being Anu that makes for the greatest pull into Anu. Right, it's that modelship. Chief US says, notice how a lot of your answers have the concept of vision in them. Looking and vision, I can see. What other areas do you envision your way into in life?
I envision my way into freedom. So yes, from yeah, we can do it,
and living in the best places.
With my A likes. Hey. All right.
Indubitably. Mm-hmm. Based on the current conversation, we need more youth in the space.
Yes, absolutely. I was just speaking about that just today. And the few youth that are in the space, like they like, they like magnetize to one another. So yeah, it's really, we do. So come on. People got to start matching and mating.
I don't see.
Nah, I mean,
huh? Nothing.
I don't see nothing wrong. Oh, so you said it so slow.
Is it like in Malcolm X when Malcolm was in prison and was given medicine to curb his addiction first so that he could listen to the next? Mm-hmm. That's exactly, yes. That's yes. Chief says, so based on all those things, the physical food and then the spiritual food, how many of you actively feed people outside of social media, and what you do passively at work among relatives, and what you do passively at work and among relatives and friends?
Right.
Reminds me of the charity, right? Like, how often, are we doing that? Like, and the charity doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it can be like the feeding people outside of social media. Because, yeah, and I think Sharmini said guilty as charged. I do a lot of social media, right? So I'm going on a break soon. So now I'm charged with feeding outside of that medium, like, you know, having that physical space to feed people. So that means actively bringing people in, right?
Right. Right. Or even or ministering, right, to more, to the masses, yeah, to the people, beyond sharing a post. um, Somebody, it looks like somebody said they don't like your rendition of that song.
No,
He,
that's not what he said.
what's he
That's
saying?
not what
Tell
he
me.
said. It said that's probably my ringtone, like on my phone. It's not. Is that the one you're looking at?
Oh, ringtone. Yes. Is that the ringtone on your phone?
No, no.
She
Maybe no.
lying. She lying, y'all. She lying. I'm like, she's answering guilty. Okay.
Not enough active feeding on my part, Chief. It has been mostly passive and among relatives. Yeah, like, yeah, because even I think even the social media is passive. Like, you know, I could do it till the cows come home, but like, how many people are coming in? So that means there has to be like active conversation. And more than one, because I will say, like, I can get stuck on having like one conversation like for a very long time with one person, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
just give the food, you know, drop the gem and keep it moving, you
Right.
know, because then, you know, who am I missing while I'm spending an hour with one person?
Right.
Mm. Chief says, yes, by counting on how you show up and how you affect the room is that self-righteous woke mentality. Maybe no one is paying attention to you because they have their own woes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
You know, it's just like the homeless, you know, if I'm not, if you know, no, if you're actively like, I don't know, I want to, this is going to be a red wrap example. Like, if you're having issues, like you're actively menstruating and, like, you know, you having accidents all over the street, do you really want me to sit there and talk to you,
Right.
you
No.
know, everything else? Or would it be more helpful for me to like give you something where you can go clean yourself, or give
Yeah.
you to go get a, you know, give you something to address what's happening right now, right? Because you have your own woes. So are you listening to what's happening? So how can I like interweave, you know, that addressing of whatever your woes are, and even saying like, this is maybe a way that you can fix it. Like, you know, here's that immediate help to fix, and then here's another way to like not be hungry going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So while it looks like we're almost caught up with the chat. So so I'll read the next sentence. Their role in evolving our culture should never be undermined. So for this one, you know, I just think about how microwave culture does undermine the development of youth, you know, or even the idea, like I grew up in the era where there were latchkey kids, right? And it's like the kids that their parents just work and they come home from school, they've got their own key around their neck. And I thought it was cool for those kids because it's like, oh, nobody's home. You just get to go there. But I didn't realize at the time that what I came home to, you know, which wasn't that, that was what the cost was, what the cost is for just sit in front of the television and do what you do until mom or dad or mom and dad get home, and how that undermines, you know, the development. But when you have that cultural imperative, the expectation is that you're evolving the culture, and pouring something righteous into your children so that things can be carried on and that they're not kind of put off of their path as it would be, which is really to expand what you've laid before them. So yeah.
Mhm. I'm going to skip down. Brother Mari Utu says, actually, I have bought food with 2 homeless couples and a young brother as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Chief says, so you envision your way, this is to us. So you envision your way into freedom, envision the best places, but what do you get off your behind to actually do? Envision
Mm-hmm.
bowels with no action, and you will have a crack full of shite.
Yes. So don't just envision, do, receive.
Right.
Which is what Sister
But
should.
we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to. We're wisdom, right?
Right.
We're
Yeah.
supposed to manifest the knowledge and not just sit with it, or else it becomes corrupted.
Right. That's stagnant water. Mm-hmm.
I don't have ringtones, y'all. It's fine.
They're still
I
talking
know.
about
um, I think we're caught up.
Yes, we are.
So I'm going to just read off the final sentence and in this passage. And it is without the Anu youth advancing of what we are, we will perish. I'll say it again. Without the Anu youth advancing of what we are, we will perish. Because if that evolution is not present, then that means they probably go off and do other things that don't carry forward Anu. And then what happens? It's just the rest of the old folks left. They die off, and then it's done.
Party done. Party done. Right.
Right. Party done.
Lights out.
Lights
Yes. Out. Yes. So yeah, that's the charge, right? So if there were things that I would focus on as like the thematic takeaways from tonight's build, it's really that we need to move with urgency, that we need to be doers of this work, right? Not envisioners or just sitting around planning. The good thing is we don't have to sit around and plan. The blueprint, the plan has already been laid out before us, and we've been spending many months, and we'll continue to spend many more months just deliberating on said plan. So let's get to work. Get to the work of mating, get to the work of building, get to the work of ministry, get to the work of cultivating our future, which are the youth of Anu. And Anu. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if I could also like sum it up into one word, right? You know, to add on to like earlier when I said like evolving, right? Recruit.
Yes.
That would be the word. That's what I got, because like in order to get to that point where we even have the children, we have to have people to make the children, right? So recruit would be the one word to sum that up. You know, that's our charge and our responsibility, so that we can get to the, you know, instilling the righteous culture into the children for them to evolve. Because have them will perish before they even get here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So with that, Sister Kashia says, be Anu. Or hashtag. I'm supposed to say that. Y'all know I'm old. Hashtag be Anu.
Okay. Give thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Shema yet again. We are glad that you could open up your Shabbat with us. Oh, wait. Chief US says, true, top tier speakers. Again, lots of talk, but not enough action from the men. One step by one man can lead to 1,000 steps by 10 women. But that man has to be self-motivated and inspired already.
There you have it.
Mic drop. So we will leave it.
On cue for that one. Absolutely.
Good thanks.
Yeah.
We will leave it at the mic drop. And say give thanks for joining us. We are headed out. I'm going to go internal. Right. Now, nation, or end. Okay. Peace, everyone. See you next draw.
Peace.